About the session, I'm very excited to be here with you today. And the reason why I'm very excited, there are many reasons, but the main one is that I feel like I can be helpful maybe in providing some small tips that I realized in past 10 years from the moment I finished my PhD and decided to start to put together some products up to now. So first of all, I'm Mahesh Casiraghi. I'm from Italy. My background is in cognitive science, and what I've been doing during my academic time is studying human attention, and more specifically, brain activation, event-related potentials that are correlate as a correlate of human visual attentional deployment across the visual field. So this is a passion of mine. Human attention has been always a common denominator of everything I've been working on. And what I did in practice is basically sticking electrodes to the scalps of students that gave basically permission for us to conduct these experiments and presenting things on the screen. And according to where they were paying attention, basically you had specific brain activation rather than another brain activation, and we were basically investigating different attentional processes. This is my journey has basically been, if you need to summarize it in a few words, is basically going through the change of stepping from writing papers or basically writing academic kind of knowledge to writing code. And the difference, it's always text. And the difference between these two formats is that the first one helps humanity and helps people to get more insight over specific processes in science and specific areas and domains of knowledge. And the second type of text, which is code, is programming code, basically it has an attribute which is basically directed towards computers to basically perform actions. And when this happens, instead of basically being directed towards having humans learning things, it's basically directed towards having human performing things. And as in this way, it becomes a tool for improving somehow your life processes. And since we are targeting businesses right now, it's code that helps businesses improve their business processes, therefore optimizing metrics and reducing inefficiencies within the business. What the business I'm working on right now is called SessionForward. It's in Bahrain, and what it does. So let me share my screen a little bit. So what we are doing right now is basically solving a problem that has to do with interface design. So sometimes what happens is that when you have a product like an application or a website, it becomes complicated to come up with usability patterns that make most of the users happy. So what we do is basically recording anonymously interaction of real users using the product, using your products. Like for instance, we are working with Casiraghi, we are working with Golfair. And whenever we detect that there is a problem in how the product is being used, and whenever we detect that the user is getting frustrated, we basically identify specific issues. And so let me share. So this is, let me share, I'm sharing interface. So basically here you are able to replay sessions of specific users using a product. And this is a language education community that I keep up as a hobby these days. And here you can browse through different sessions. And here what happens is that we run these sessions into data processing pipelines. And what these pipelines come up with is specific, basically come up with issues that the interface might present. So in this case, it's detected that in the landing page of this specific website at desktop resolution, there's a problem with a call to action. And in more specifically, the text in the call to action is not very visible. So this is detected automatically by our data processing pipelines. And in this case, it detects, for instance, that there is a cold color button over a cold color background, and therefore it's, this button is likely not performing as it should be. And according to different issues that we identify, so on the basis of these issues, we've come up with optimizations that we can run on our clients' websites and applications, and we then record. We perform basically experiments, and we figure out which specific changes and optimizations on the product of our clients translate into better satisfaction for their users, the end users, and basically identify ways for businesses, for instance, e-commerce businesses, to improve revenue by having more people actually buying things, or having people that want to buy things actually being able to go through all the steps that are required, and not actually heading to a competitor business and buy something there. So this is basically what we do in simple words. And my journey basically to go from writing papers to writing code, and in specific case SessionForward, has been took about 10 years. I finished my PhD about 10 years ago. And the first thing I did is when I finished the doctorate is starting to taking some time, and in order to understand if I wanted to continue pursuing academia and continue pursuing the furthering of human knowledge in the specific domain I was expert in, or using the knowledge that I picked up in my academic years in order to try to build things that would be helpful for performing specific actions. So the first thing I came up with is we basically I got together after picking up some code with a friend of mine, and we put together a product which was called Coffee Strap. And what we wanted to do is basically improving the language proficiency in people that that would not necessarily speak properly in another language. This came from a pain we had. We are both Italian, and of course, you might know that if your language is something else than English as native language, then as an academic you have a problem. And so it's not necessarily a huge problem, but you are in a condition of disadvantage with respect to English natives. To write a paper, it might take 1.5 times, 2 times the amount of time that would take an English native. So, and specifically in presentations, in conferences, we have this problem. We have strong Italian pronunciation. So what happened is that we wanted to basically address this issue we had and help other people to address this issue. So we came up with this research project for a tool that would help people practice their conversations. And the way in which we applied our knowledge was basically to build a server that would identify automatically language and pronunciation issues in people that would interact in one-to-one conversations via internet. So the idea underlying the project was basically matching people that would have some compatibility in terms of their problems in spoken language. So let's say that I'm from Italy, I have specific pronunciation issues, I have specific lexical limits that are bound to me being Italian and me being not perfect English speaker. So what happened is that we would match specific people with specific pattern in their language proficiency with other people with other problems. And the idea was basically organizing these conversations and basically maximizing the I would say the positive outcomes of the conversation for both parties of the conversation. And we created this research project. We got some grants from European Union. We built this server. The server is being used right now by some companies, but we didn't have any business background because we were 2 weeks. So we were computer science and cognitive science geeks. And we were very happy to deliver a project that a server, a piece of code that would actually be very helpful. But we never managed to make it Coffeestrap profitable. So as of today, I'm keeping up the language community as a free language exchange site and as a hobby. But basically, we never got any significant revenue that would allow us to live out of this product. So at the end of it took about a couple of years, 2-3 years to from the point where we started working on Coffeestrap to the moment when we figure out that the team would not be able to get enough funds out of the venture to actually basically to complete the journey. And when I was done with Coffeestrap, I was like, okay, what do I do now? So my background is in specific human attention processes. We built this thing. I picked up along the way. We picked up some entrepreneurial know-how. So what do I do with it? And this connects to the fact that one of the things that I want to talk to you about later is that it's you see sometimes the journey is not at least in my experience is not and especially if you want to change domain and going from academia or from some specific theoretical studies to building more practical things, that you will run into problems that come from the fact that you have a specific mindset, you have a specific amount of knowledge in specific domains, and you miss a bunch of knowledge in other domains. And one of these domains was how to create a profitable business, and we had no idea. So how do I try to address this issue? I don't know how to build businesses because I don't know how to make things profitable. I work with people. This is the answer. This was my answer. It's not the right answer. But I work with people that excel in this specific domain. So they know how to monetize things. So I started to build products because this was basically what I could do. Working with people that would be good business mentors. And I worked on the first person I've been working with is called Alex Torrenegra, is from Colombia, and what he built is the biggest voiceover marketplace in the world. So basically, when you have a video and you want some specific voice actors to provide voices for your videos, you can basically head to these websites, and one of these is called Bunnying, and this basically is the biggest one, and I think it is the better one, where you can interact with voice actors and basically come up with the perfect voices for your video. So I started working with this guy, and I learned a lot from him. And then I started working uh, another friend who is running a company called Detuncon. Company is based in Dubai, and what I've been building with them is a product called Insight. And what this product does basically is, let me share my screen quick so I can show you a bit. So what this product does is extracting information using machine learning from CCTV cameras, and using this information not to control everybody, but to identify problems with the specific streams. For instance, one way in which it is used is to enforce workplace PPE, so basically workplace security, making sure that everybody on construction sites is wearing their helmet, making sure that people are working in a safe way. Another way in which it used is, for instance, DP World, which is a port authority in Dubai, is using it to assess automatically damage in containers, and preventing situation where they ship containers that are broken or are rusty, or represent liability issues, so they represent problems constitute a problem for the company. And basically, on the basis of the CCTV video from the cameras on the cranes, basically it in the case of a container goes through, is about to be shipped with specific damage, these models trigger alarms, and then the personnel can act upon it. So basically what this product does is replacing humans staring at videos and triggering actions whenever, triggering alarms whenever specific criteria or thresholds are met. So in this, working on this product has been very interesting, and this product is now being used in GCC. And what I was working as head of product with these people, and about a year ago I was like, look, I miss building a company. So after the coffee startup experience, I want to go back into building a product and not, I mean, I've been building product for a while, but building a product that somehow I can sell. And so exploring again the entrepreneurial journey. And they were I was lucky enough that they were very supportive, and they're being supportive right now. And what basically the step here is jumping from the real world. So basically applying the same information extraction that we were working on with video and real world video streams in digital products. So basically this is how SessionForward came along. So basically it's what in all specific steps of the journey. Basically I kind of keep doing the same thing, changing something. So basically I suggest that can be a way for you to decrease the amount of risk. Because every time you change the domain, there's significant risk associated to it. And if you can kind of manage to kind of keep doing the same thing, but switching some elements progressively and test if it works out or not, then I believe that that's a way in which you can decrease and test waters, decrease risk and test waters before actually jumping into your new thing. So this was my introduction. Sorry, I tend to talk too much. So I wanted to come up right now with some tips, let's call them like that, that represent things that I didn't know and I didn't have crystal clear 10 years ago when I jumped from academia to starting building products, and that you might find helpful. Maybe you will already know most of these things, or not, but in case you don't, these are, I would have, so my intention is coming up with these tips because they could have been beneficial to me 10 years ago, and I would have not run into problems. And at this specific problem, when facing each specific one of these problems, then I figure out these specific tips. And if you can figure out without making the mistakes, then you save time. So basically, let's go through these tips. So again, this is not truth. This is my experience and associated with what I picked up from my specific experience. It's possible that you will run into similar experiences and come up with different conclusions. So don't take this as any sort of representation of truth. No, this is the conclusion aside. And remember that there's no surrogate for actual experience. So even if you will have perfect people and very knowledgeable people telling you things, there's no such way, that no better way than understanding things than actually running into problems and figuring out yourself. So my advice is always try to experience, and then, because that's the best way to actually accumulate knowledge. So the first thing I didn't know 10 years ago, and that I think I know now, is that when you compare academic people or people that basically work on building knowledge, two people that work in business, that actually interact every day with other people in order to provide solutions to them. The huge, if I wanted to come out to a single, blunt, straightforward difference between this kind of people, is that in academia we are very good in coming up with questions. So you are a good scientist, you are a good academic if you ask yourself why. So why do we deploy our attention right when we look left, and why when somebody does this, then our attention goes there even if we don't want. This is what is applied to our domain. But if you are thinking right now about your domain, you know that in order to further knowledge, you need to come up with very good questions, and then you formulate hypotheses, and then you come up with the scientific method processes in order to understand whether your hypotheses were wrong or right, and then you write a paper, hopefully if you have some new knowledge out of your questions. So in academia, you find people that are very good, traditionally and usually and generally speaking, at posing new questions. This is not necessarily a good thing when you interact with business people. And the reason is that business people are answers oriented. So what they do is solving problems for other people, and this is how they make money. So in order to be a good business person, you need to kind of shift your mindset from generating a lot of good questions to generate not necessarily a lot, but good answers. So you need to start to be able to give answers. And this was my main problem when I started to interact with the business world. I was not, my mind was like, okay, why this work like this? Let's try to figure out. And then people were losing interest in what I was trying to sell them, or what I was trying to produce. And the reason is that the main reason was that people are looking to solutions, to product, in order to solve problems they have. So they want answers. They don't want more questions, because questions confuse them. So this is the main thing that I would have liked to know 10 years ago. that I know now. So you need, if you want to start to create a business out of academia, you need, the first thing you need to do is, if you're not already a good provider of answers, you need to become very good at giving answers. Another thing that I didn't know 10 years ago, uh, I mentioned that we created the Coffee Strap as a research project, and it was good. So we were basically, we got 10 people. I wrote this grant, I got some money from the European Union, and what I did right away is getting the 10 most brilliant people that would provide help, would provide basically insights over this kind of technology we're building, and get them from Italy for 6 months up in Amsterdam, where the company was incorporated. And so it's like, okay, let's get together, and we were living together. It was very, very great time. It was exciting, and everybody had a lot of ideas, everybody was super excited. But sometimes it happens that you put a group of people together, and they get excited about stuff, and this is how sometimes great things happen. But what I didn't know then is that this is not a business. A group of people together excited about something, and being and eager about creating a solution. It's just that it's a group of people happy and eager and passionate about solution. A business is solving a money problem. We drastically didn't know then at that time. So people get together in organizations, parties, clubs, families, different sorts of group entities to solve specific sorts of problems. Uh, One thing you need to have very clear in your mind is that if you want to create a business, you need to, the business exists because it solves a money problem. So basically, either it allows people to save money, or it allows people to make more money. And this is a little bit, not necessarily, it's a little bit of an untold truth. And because sometimes you have people, oh, let's work on a startup, okay, that's why it's awesome, I pay you 3 peanuts and then you work 24 hours a day. So if you know this, that you are very clear in your mind that a business exists to make money, and without making money there's no business, you know that your work within a business need to be valued. And is value, you are in this business because you can provide value, otherwise nobody's going to hire you, or nobody wants you to be their co-founder. And you need something in exchange that is tangible. So if somebody starts to mention that you should work in a sort of family or club or organization environment, and then these specific group patterns are detached from what is the money-making nature of the business, then you know that it's a red flag. So if you yourself are looking to get together with other people in order to address problems or pursue specific needs that are not related to money, then you need to ask yourself whether a business is the right way of getting together with other people. And there are many, is not building a company is not the only way to get together with other people outside of your family or outside of your friends. There's you can do so many things. You can create a cat shelters. You can there are so many non-profit organization opportunity out there where you can actually build something great without necessarily making money. So this is one thing that I wish that I had clear, and it's the main reason why we didn't get Coffee Strap to be sustainable, because we were not thinking about money at all. We started to think about money when the money from the grant ran out, and like, okay, so how do we actually make money out of this right now? And this is not the right time to look for money. So it's I would say that the opposite scenario is also, I think, not necessarily optimal. So where you start from necessarily analyzing the financials of a project before even having a product. Sometimes you have, especially MBA kind of people, they like to come up with very complicated financial models, and then they don't have anything that they can work with. So you need to kind of find a way in the middle of building something you have passion for, or you have the possibility to build and the knowledge to build, but also having clear from day zero how this specific technology or product or solution is going to make people money or saving people money. Otherwise, you are in for a hard time, because the business is going to miss a crucial part of the game. The third tip. So a business can provide two different things. So if you basically analyze all businesses out there, they're one of two categories. They can be either provide a service or a set of services, or a product and a set of products. So when you decide, if you decide to get together with people, or even to start by yourself, and you have an idea for a business, the second thing you need to figure out is, do you want to provide a service, or do you want to provide a product? And what is the difference? So a service is a set of activities that one or more people provide to one or more other people to solve one or more problems. So a service is an activity. A product is a thing. So a product is a thing built by one or more people that provides one or more solution to one or more of other people's problems. This is very crucial in one aspect. That so you have companies that have that are hyper successful, that provide only services, and companies that are hyper successful that provide only products. So it comes down to one huge difference. There are more, and we'll see later on, but the first one is that whenever you provide a service, which is an activity, you need somebody that provides this activity. So you need either yourself. Let's say that you create a business that I don't know, a lawn maintenance business. So you take care of gardens or of houses, okay? And it's the example in US. When you start a business, the most common thing to do is to take care of lawns of people, and just charge people to take care of their garden. And this is a service business. So you need to wake up in the morning, get on your truck, get your equipment, and start to work on other people's gardens. A product is a thing. So if you want to build a business that is product based, then you need to channel your activity towards the creation of something. It doesn't need to be code. It doesn't need to be, it can be a mug. So it can be a coffee mug that has specific properties, maybe is more beautiful, more aesthetically attractive, or it can be more, it can keep coffee hotter for a longer time, or it can be whatever kind of product you can come up for. You are producing a thing. So this is, you have to be to have this very clear in your mind when you start a business. So you want to create a set of activities that help people, or you want to create a set of things that help people. So and then this will turn into different DNA in the business. Service businesses are a little bit different than product businesses, and you usually can tell very easily which are our service businesses and which are our product businesses. There's not one better than the other. It depends on many things. So this choice, whether to create a service business or a product business, come down to, it reflects in the DNA of the company, and most of the times come down to you or the founders of the company. In order to provide a service, you need to be a very good listener. Solutions for the problems that people are telling you. So you need to be a listener first, and with some inventing capabilities, because you need to be very good at understanding and listening to what are the problems of people, and you need to reflect in your actions, in the services you provide, the solutions that address the problems of the people. In order to build products, so to create a product company, you always need to listen to people, because if you build a product that people don't want, then you're in trouble. But you need to be an inventor first. So you need to be able and willing to channel most of your activity, not in doing things that directly affect the happiness of people, but in building, in channeling your activities towards the creation of something that then itself solves the problem of the people. So you need to be geared towards creation of things. So if creating things doesn't necessarily make you passionate as providing solution and providing services to people, then you most likely wouldn't, you would most likely run into trouble if you would have to create a product business, because it's most of the time of the people, of all the people, not necessarily just the founder, within a product business is geared toward creating things that solve problems and improving things. So you need to be very passionate about fixing problems in things, inventing things, optimizing things, and making these things performing better than things that are built by other businesses. One example of this is Apple. No, it's like it's the product, it's the most famous product center business, and they just build things that, computers, phones, and all sorts of products that just perform better than the competition, and their product is in the DNA of Apple. So if you need to come up with an example for a product, successful product business is Apple. A successful service business would be, for instance, these big consultancies that help many people improve their processes, and many companies to improve their processes. So yeah, you understand there are very different sorts of businesses. So you need to pick the one that passionates you. So service or product, what does passionate? Providing services or building products, and the one that suits your skills. So all of us have different skills, all of us have different expertise in different domains, and if maybe you like to build products, but you figure out that you are great in providing services, and everybody you interact with is very happy about the activity you are providing to them, then maybe you would like to build the product, but in fact you are great at providing services. So maybe you should build a service company. This reconnects to, I wanted to stress this again because it applies to my experience a lot. So posing questions to business people creates confusion. So if you are a person who likes to get into issues and trying to figure out basically what how something, many things at the same time, let's put frame this way, you should refrain yourself to address different areas of knowledge concurrently. So if somebody has a problem with their garden and they want you to address this problem, if you go there and you see that their door is a little bit broken, and you ask, you say, okay, what you need to fix your garden, but this door doesn't work very well. Maybe somebody can get into your this. You are posing a question to the person you're supposed to help. If you're passionate about questions and you get to the garden of somebody and you are puzzled a little bit by why many things are the way they are outside of the garden domain, then refrain yourself from asking your client for their question. Because business people, especially within the enterprise, are extremely easily confused by you posing questions. Sometimes it's confusion, sometimes it's something else, it's worse, because people are maybe afraid to lose their job, or there's many issues there. But if you are somebody gets in contact with you to provide a solution, would it be a product, would it be a service, you are providing something for them, they want a problem solved. Don't ask other questions about other domains, because this confuses them, and when they're confused, they lose interest in your solution. So this is something that I need to pick up the hard way, and something that I still need to work on. But it's my advice, if amongst you there's somebody that like me who likes to keep on asking why, then you know that this decreases your success possibilities whenever you're trying to provide a product or a service. Because in academia, we interact with scientists and with people that are very passionate about questions. In business, it's not like that most of the times. Another tip, so when you start to, when you basically stop being an employee and start to, you're passionate about creating something that will need to give you food, you will have a lot of anxiety. Some people have more anxiety. I'm anxious. I have kind of a bunch of anxiety related to not like a clinical anxious, but I tend to think over a lot over things. So, and there's some paranoia sometimes, borderline paranoia. So it's you will run into a situation where you will have fears about, okay, so I left this domain and I was an expert here. I left this set of activity. I knew how to perform everything here, and now I'm jumping into something, and this thing is not yet generating any revenue. My clients, they say that they will maybe pay me at some point. They don't know wire transfer yet. So your first set of issues is, okay, how do I eat? And then depending, this can affect us in different ways. There's some of us that are more that have higher lifestyles, more demanding lifestyles, and some of us that are richer and some of us that need less resources to carry on with, and some of us that has less general resources, have less general resources. So this will affect us differently according to a lot of our uh, basically situation and our habits. But you know that if you start a business, rule usually you go into financially hard times. The reason is you're leaving something safe and you're jumping into something unsafe. And at that point, you will start to have fears, and it's perfectly normal. So it's the thing that helped me and helped a lot other people that were in the same situation that I've been interacting with, and then I figured out that it was a common knowledge, and that I hope that I had this piece of knowledge 10 years ago, is that you will not starve. So it's you will never likely be in the situation where you will want some food and you will not have it. And this because we are privileged somehow. We live in parts of the world where there's some welfare and where there's some more abundance of resources. So if you are in the situation where you are thinking about starting a business in the Western world, um, it's because you are really pretty up in the Maslow pyramid, and therefore it's very, very unlikely that you will lose everything and you will be in a situation where you will have no food. So whenever you will have these fears coming at you and thinking, okay, how do I actually find my income in soon, you need to have it clear that you will not start. And this is important because you might have available some social net, some tools in your in society that are going to help you out, even if you don't know you have them, or even if you don't want to use them now. It's difficult to go to friends and say, look, I'm out of money, so can I sleep on your couch? This is something that culturally it's acceptable in different places. It's more or less acceptable, but now you have a lot of entrepreneurs that were in dark times, and they figure out that whenever they are in dark times, they figure out that it's gonna be all right. And most of even famous successful entrepreneurs, they've been in a situation when they need to crash at a friend's couch, and this might be more or less acceptable to you, and in specific societies or countries more or less acceptable. But you know that there will be, so you need to know now, you will not starve, but you know that if you start a business, it's likely, whatever your social status is and whatever your resources are, that your lifestyle will be impacted at least a little bit, because you will go into some times where you will have less money that you could have gotten if you didn't decide to start a business. So it's very difficult that you start a business and it works out from day one. So brace yourself. What you need to know is that there will be times that will be tough, but at the same time, everything will be all right. Even if you will fail all the business you will start, you are likely not going to start. So, and this is connected. So I'm almost done. This is the other side of the game. So basically, somebody, Nassim Taleb, said that the three most harmful addictions to the humankind are heroin, carbohydrates, and monthly salary. So this is might be seen as a little bit drastic, but yeah, salary creates addiction, and it's not necessarily. I'm less drastic in this. I'm not necessarily. I don't see it necessarily as a bad and harmful to somebody, because you can be extremely happy, and there are to work your life through a salary and doing great work, having great friends, and working with great people, and not necessarily be in the situation where you need to give up a salary to start something. And so I wouldn't deem necessarily the having a salary as a harmful harmful thing for the expression of the human being. But there's people that think that there's a lot of people that think that the monthly salary is basically a tool to prevent talent to be expressed, because this kind of cages you into a social situation where you get addicted to the calm and to the bubble of happiness that your salary gives to you. So this turns into the opposite. The consequence that if you give up a salary, then you might need to come to deal with situations you are not comfortable with. So let's say that you start a business, you give up your salary, and you might have an opportunity in another place in the world. So let's say that somebody in Spain, you interact with somebody in the corporate world, and you figure out that in Spain there's need for your product, and in Bahrain right now nobody wants to use your product. So you need to go to Spain if you want somebody, because the clients want you there. So this is just an hypothetical situation, but basically you might need, you lose control over some domains of your life that having a salary allow you to be on top of. So basically you might need to basically give up on specific relationship things, so specific habits that if you like to go kite surfing, and then you need to go to Alaska, then you need to give up kite surfing. So that's basically something that you need to have in your mind, that you might need to give up on things. But at the same time, what I experience with on me and on people around me is that whenever you are out of your comfort zone and you give up on things, different part of yourself come up, and so it's kind of a way to also get to know yourself and get to deal with things within yourself and within others that you wouldn't necessarily run into if you didn't decide to step out of your comfort zone. This applies to starting a company, but applies to many others. So whenever you step out of your comfort zone in different domains, then you discover things of yourself. And it also, in my experience, with basically interacting with all the people I've been interacting with, by creating a company, they came to discover parts of themselves that they were not aware of. So this is something positive and negative, but I would say mostly positive, that it's sometimes not talked about when related to building, when talking about building a company. So this is basically it. I wanted to come up with some specific tips that would not be too many, and that would be at the same time clear. I'm not very good at presenting things linearly, but I hope that some of them were clear enough, and I hope that not all of them were already in your knowledge domain, and I know they were not in my case before discovering them, and I hope that some of them will help you out in your journey. And I'm available all the time. So if you have like whatever kind of question that I might have answered to, and I don't by no means have an expert in building businesses, but if you have any questions about how to put together a product, or how you should start to understand if there's a need for something, just reach out. I mean, my email is mahesh@sessionforward.com, and I will be happy to interact and try to help out in my within my capabilities.
Thank you so much, Mahesh, for this great session. You shed light on so many aspects that I'm sure the students have benefited from. Unfortunately, I have another session which is about to start at 12. So I may leave this open for students who would like to ask you any questions. Guys, do you have any questions for Mahesh? Or like he mentioned, you could also reach out to him through his email address. All right, so I think people will be contacting you, I hope. Thank you so much, Mahesh, for this great session. And inshallah, we'll have you again in the near future.
Thank you very much, Dr.
Thank
Ezra.
you. Thank you.
Pleasure for me.
Have a
Thank you.
great day, everyone.
You too. Bye bye.
Bye.